Hello, you're watching Shalom World News. I'm Katie Asco from Dublin, Ireland, and these are your latest headlines from around the world. On December 10th, International Human Rights Day, Pakistan witnessed yet another episode of anti-Christian violence. A mob of Muslims disrupted a wedding reception in the house of a Christian in Farooqabad in Punjab province. They molested women before torching the house. The residents and guests were able to escape before flames engulfed the building. The violence began when a Muslim neighbour entered the house and tried to harass the women. He was thrown out but returned with a dozen people and began attacking the guests. When the police were arrested, the assailants retreated, only to later return to loot the money and jewels given to the newlyweds and douse gasoline on the furniture and set it ablaze. Believers in the Parish of Thach Bich in the Archdiocese of Hanoi in Vietnam have set an example for how to live the faith and bring the good news to non-Catholics. From the parish's humble origin at the end of the 18th century, with 6 Catholics who fled persecution, the faith community now counts 8,800 people. Over the centuries, the vitality of the spiritual life of the Catholics influenced non-Christians to the extent that countless people embraced the faith. Great care is given to the catechism classes in the parish to enable young believers to take the Christian faith everywhere, including their workplace. At present, there are 23 catechism classes for different age groups in the parish. The vicar and assistant vicar also play a vital role in sharing the joys and sorrows of the parishioners and supporting their evangelization efforts. A Catholic advocacy group in the US has urged the Department of Justice to take necessary action to address the disturbing rise in hate-filled attacks on Catholic religious symbols, shrines, statues and churches. In a letter addressed to the Attorney General Merrick Garland and Assistant Attorney General Clark, Catholic Vote President Brian Burt raised concern over the rise in such attacks, calling on the department to investigate these complaints and take appropriate action. The advocacy group wrote a letter on December 15th highlighting the toppling of statues of St. Junipero Serra, the vandalization of Our Lady of the Assumption Church in Bloomingburg and the Cathedral Basilica of the Immaculate Conception in Denver, Colorado, and the attack on the statue of Our Lady of Fatima in the Basilica of the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception in Washington, D.C. Birch also alleged that the department is not doing enough to raise awareness about the issue. An independent non-profit organization in the US has criticized the Hong Kong court verdict that gave 13 months imprisonment to Catholic philanthropist and founder of the now-defunct pro-democracy Apple Daily, Jimmy Lai, for taking part in the banned Tiananmen Square massacre vigil last year. The Committee to Protect Journalists slammed the ruling and sought his immediate release. In a recent statement, the organization said that China's efforts to silence a media entrepreneur over a simple expression of commemoration for those who died in the 1989 massacre in Beijing is despicable. The organization's Asian program coordinator in Washington, D.C., Stephen Butler, said that Hong Kong authorities should release Lai immediately. Lai was convicted for inciting people to join the banned vigil. 7 others were also convicted for organizing, attending, and inciting others to take part in the event. As per the latest list prepared by the French government regarding anti-religious crimes, Christians have been confirmed as the primary target of attacks. Out of 1,380 anti-religious acts recorded between January and October this year, 686 attacks specifically targeted Christians, churches or church-run institutions in the country. Although there has been a 25% drop in the number of attacks against Christians and churches compared to 2019, it is alarming that Christianity is still being targeted. The acts range from offensive graffiti on church walls and statues to arson and desecration of tabernacles. A few days ago, a Marian procession near Paris was attacked by Islamic hardliners who mouthed blasphemies, poured water on believers, and swore by the Quran to lynch the priest who was leading the procession. This prompted Minister Gerald Darmanin to condemn the attack and express solidarity with Catholics. In 2019, there were 921 anti-Christian attacks across France, including torching of several churches. An evangelical minister abducted by Fulani herdsmen in Nigeria has been killed. Ecumenical organization Christian Association of Nigeria has confirmed that Reverend Dauda Bature of the Evangelical Church Winning All in Kaduna State was killed by abductors. Reverend Joseph Hayab, chairperson of the Kaduna chapter of the association, said that the kidnappers called the leaders of Reverend Bature's church and informed them that they had killed the hostage, as they were not paid a ransom. There are reports that the Reverend's wife was also kidnapped when she brought the ransom to Fulani herdsmen, but was released on December 6th. The Reverend was abducted on November 8th while he was working on his farm. Kidnapping of Christian believers, priests, pastors and religious by armed men, especially Fulani herdsmen, is increasing, and the government is doing little to tackle the issue. In response to the rising threat to Christians in the Holy Land, leaders of various churches have appealed to the civil authorities in Israel, Palestine and Jordan. The top prelates of the Catholic, Orthodox and Protestant churches signed a joint statement on December 13th on the current threat to the Christian presence in the Holy Land. The church leaders noted that fringe radical groups pressure Christians through repeated attacks, forcing them to flee the native land. The leaders pointed out that since 2012, there have been numerous incidents of physical and verbal assaults against priests and other clergy, attacks on Christian churches, and defacing of holy sites. Despite the surging anti-Christian violence, church leaders acknowledged the Israeli government's stated commitment to provide Christians with a safe and secure home, while maintaining the community as an integral part of the tapestry of the local community. The US ambassador designate to Pakistan, Donald Armin Blome, has pledged to push Pakistan to target all terrorist groups without distinction. In a statement, Blome said that religious minorities in Pakistan have long faced discrimination, including accusations of blasphemy. He said that such accusations have undermined the rule of law, adding that he will speak out against violations of human rights and religious freedom. He also reiterated his support to local groups and individuals who are courageously fighting for civil rights despite kidnappings, assaults, intimidation and disappearances. The ambassador designate said he would also use his position to make clear US government priorities and values with regards to human rights and personal freedoms. Those are your latest headlines. Do join us tomorrow and visit swnews.org for more updates. Shalom.